in review. I just picked this up. This is great. I got it for $20, and for $20 you get the entire series. It's practically giving it away, right? It's got to be better. Brian Fuller would probably be remiss to write a few Batman Arkham episodes for Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is the showrunner for all new things Batman. So if Brian Fuller could be asked to write a few psychologically uh, gripping episodes that will make you grip your couch. Who else would you go to? I think Brian Fuller's doing a Stephen King adaptation about a car that kills you, some things like that. So, redefining yourself. So we have lost an hour. We're going forward, setting our clocks forward, losing that hour, and yeah, I'm happy to see that it's not 5 o'clock at night. That we have more daytime, but that means it's more summer. Cold showers are welcome, whatever that means. Springing forward, you are able to have more time to do things. You don't get racially profiled by the cops because you're running around at 5 or 6 in the nighttime. I still remember when I was racially profiled all those years ago. Have I met any new females? Not that I know of. Nothing. There are some females that have added to me on TikTok, but I just see them as fans. Nothing like that. Nothing like when I remember Boogie. I think Boogie's wife was a fan of the show. Nobody he knew from the past, from his past. So no, it's just if somebody really likes me and they like what I do, I talk. I think it's better when a female likes you than you like the female because it makes it easier to talk to them. You don't have to go and worry about having to be a little bit creepy because we have to be a little bit creepy to get their attention. But they come and talk to you, you talk to them. But nothing exciting, nobody worth looking at, nothing interesting new. However, I am taking the concept art for Rosemary and Olivia Daniels. These are two fictional characters that I created and have redrawing things because I kind of like the art, but I don't like the art. And here's some of the concepts. These are characters that I have known since I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So this is like over 20 years of work, and I'm redefining it, redefine oneself. So this is all the art that you can see here. And then it's nice for people to pop in and pop out of my stream, isn't that? And then this is based on old concept of work that I did back in 2000. Actually 2002, I believe. Probably 2002. So it's actually 20 years since I did this exact design, but I'm redesigning the characters. I believe my working title is called The Outcaster's Ghost Passage. Ghost Passage is kind of a fancy way of reincarnation, when every life you've lived before. And I guess the theme tonight is redefining yourself. Every time you meet somebody, you make a mistake and you think, if you meet a female and you're like, how can I do better? Because yeah, you have to look at her faults, but you also have to look at your faults as well. What did you do wrong and how can you fix it? How can you do better? So I think there are women that I wish I could have had, and there are women that don't faze me. Still there's a coworker that I think about sometimes, but I'm not going to push the agenda because there's more important things than getting the girl. I gotta get my money, got to put in my hours, put in my time, and use the money, save my money, and put it towards something good. That's all I care. If she talks to me, great. If I talk to her, that's great too. If she stops working at my work, then that's fine too. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm in my 40s now. I don't have the patience. I'm not going to play hard to get, or if she plays hard to get with me, or any female plays hard to get with me, I don't have time. I just don't. Look at me, okay? I picked up a beer I picked up a beer for cooking reasons because I don't really drink. I'll drink beer with people, but I picked up beer and didn't have to get my ID out. I'm that old, okay? I don't have the time. As Joey Diaz says, the stupid shit we do in our 20s kills us in our 30s. And then we just look at it in a mirror in our 40s. Like it's all the stupid shit you did, you're looking in that in the mirror when you wake up. And that's a rough thing. Um, so I spent my week redefining my characters, my heroes, my villains. Um, Rosemary kind of is started my starting point. When you set up dominoes and you knock down the dominoes and they all start to make a pattern and shit. And that's sort of the feeling. Like you just want to um, you know, start with one person and then influence others. Right now all I'm caring about is, just surviving and making sure that I get through the next day and through the next day. That to me is more important than any female because like I said, no matter who you want to meet, um, you're going to have to take care of her at some point. There's a lot of simps out there who think that they're going to get the Twitch girl or the TikTok girl. Probably not going to happen. I'm still talking to somebody, and she may never ever end up with me. That's fine. I like I said, you only have so much patience. You have to talk to a lot of them. Rodrigo, how's it going? Um, but in case Rodrigo was wondering, no, it's foreign women are not necessarily better. There are guys that, yeah, all right, let's go get a foreign woman. You never know. You just don't know. I've talked to women from I think Iraq and Russia. Forgive the Russians. It's not the Russian citizens' fault. Even some from Ukraine, and they can all be the same way. They can be as snooty as they want. They want that husband. They want that paycheck. And I still remember the primary example of foreign women not working out is remember that story, that movie with the naval officer who married the princess, and as soon as he got the princess from a third world country to America, she decided to go to nightclubs. She decided she wanted this and she wanted that. It's kind of like the Joey Diaz analogy of when you're dating in your 20s, you're dating a woman, but you want to put it up her ass and you have an affair on her. Suddenly you realize, like if you're a woman, you come into America, you can have all kinds of things, and then you just forget about your husband. So no guarantee of anything. There's no guarantee. It's kind of like the phrase, "It's cheaper to keep her." Um, no, you're better off getting the divorce. You just, the divorce rate is so high. Um, and there are people who are religious and they want to get married because it's their religion, their Christianity. There's nothing. Yeah, I can make fun of them sometimes, but ultimately that's their decision. What are you going to do? You can't change their mind. But um, because I lived such a traumatized life, that I choose not to get married tomorrow or the next week, no matter who it is. I did try to reach out to an old coworker. Um, yes, it is difficult to make friends as we get older. It gets awkward. But I think the better side of it is when I was in my 20s, people would gaslight you. If you were the kid in high school and junior high where everybody threw rocks at and spit wads at you, and then people still try to like make fun of you in your 20s, but they don't do it as much because it's not high school anymore. But it's kind of like a beautiful mind when you reach that seniority and everybody just kind of praises you for being old, and they don't mess with you as much. They want to say something to you, but they know you're too smart for them, and they know they can sense when you're gonna like. They can sense when you sense they're gonna shit on you, right? So, you just kind of put that to bed. So redefining yourself really means that as you get older, you look back at the things you fucked up doing, and then you try to redefine that. You try to say, okay, I'm going to do this more. I'm going to do this more. And the isolation, this is kind of unrelated, but seeing what Instagram has just shut out Russia from its social media. So Instagram is no longer supporting Russian citizens. So that's kind of sad. It's a feeling of isolation. It's the feeling of being ousted because of what you are, who you are, because um, Russophobia, better dead than red, this sort of thing that grandparents went through and my parents went through, isolating yourself. So it's trying to be proud of who you are, whether you're going on a date. Do you have any male friends you can hang out with? Nope, nobody. I have not hung out with anybody in years. And we're not talking about coworkers. I would see my coworkers, we'd talk, but not outside of work. Um, it's very much me doing my own stuff. If I see somebody, I'll talk to them online, but that's it. There's nobody in the real world. Um, and people in this neighborhood are not that bright. So what are we going to talk about? People out here are too basic. They either have racist things to say, sexist things to say, or ignorant things to say. And the problem with saying sexist and racist is that Hollywood abuses that to a degree to where they push their own stuff in. Um, yes, people are interesting. Well, I am interesting, but like I say, for me, I'm more intelligent than most. See, with males, there's a mental attraction, not a physical. Um, Granted, you probably look better than most of the women I've ever went on a date with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like most of the women looked hideous. Um, but there's always you should always have a good mental attraction to other males, meaning that you ain't gonna fuck them, but you have nothing against them. We shouldn't turn against each other. I still remember this dumbass who said, "Oh yeah, you're a guy." He wouldn't open the door for me or hold the door open because I was a guy. Like, what's your point? I remember I was coming out of my bank. This was like 2015 or so, years ago. It's like, come on. We got to help each other out. There's nothing, I don't want nothing in return. You open a door for another male. Hey, it happens. We do that. That's all it is. So we just got to look out for each other in terms of how we survive and how we succeed. That's all that really matters. And that's really it. I'm going to continue developing my art. Um, I'll continue to do board gaming, video gaming. My first, so my training day is on Tuesday, and we're training for new types of work. When I talk, I have people I can talk to in person and texting. Um, well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you can do that. It's not, your stuttering does not define you. Your ability to make friends defines you. Um, but some of us had it hard. Some of us had it difficult since, if my family weren't such a bunch of assholes, and if people in schools, like grade school, high school, if they weren't cruel to me, then yeah, I probably would have the friends you have. You probably were blessed. I'm going to make fun of you for that. But um, honestly, some people have it hard. Some people have been ridiculed their whole lives. And I hope you can understand that on some degree, because it's not their fault. Sometimes, like I tried joining groups many years. The biggest idiotic group I can think of right now are those creative writing book clubs that try to be diverse, but they end up being about a high school clique. And if you don't jive with their philosophies, even if your philosophy is not wrong, they kind of just like denounce you or negatively reinforce what you're doing, what the things you like to write and the things you like to read. Um, I just wouldn't do that. That takes a lot to organize my own kind of group. But ultimately, if people want to join something, um, find out as much as you can about it. Now, there are a lot of people who want to be alone. There are people who are destined to be priests or monks or join the Foreign Legion. You join the Foreign Legion because of a woman, and then you're not supposed to quit the Foreign Legion. They'll hunt you down for that. You're supposed to stay in the Foreign Legion forever. There are still Foreign Legions, I think. They've been around for centuries, or like over 100 years, I think. But yeah, there are. I don't know how you can combat loneliness. Um, you know, it's you see like Vine Sauce. Vine Sauce is a Twitch streamer. Let's put aside Pokemon. People do art for him all the time. They always want to be around him because he's that entertaining. He's got friends in real life. He has a rock group he hangs out with, and a chat like in the hundreds of thousands. So people want to be around this guy all the time. And if you look at him in real life, he's not the most remarkable looking person. But I think it's trying to find something about yourself that is likable and letting uh, that thing about you be relatable to someone else. And if you can do that, then it should work. Like when I do the things I do on YouTube or TikTok, I just do the things that are true to what I like. But sometimes I can do too much of it and people don't like it. So when I go on YouTube here, I pay attention to what people are looking at and what things I want to do and what is interesting in general, what could be appealing to everyone. Um, but in real life, I just try to see, mostly try to talk to the females. If there's something interesting a male does, it all depends on what it is, then I'll see what it is they're up to. But mostly I just kind of keep to myself when I do anything. And I have to be very careful when people are too friendly because they may have something to hide. And in most cases, they usually do. Um, but I have to be very careful what, and if somebody comes up to you too friendly, you know you have to be a little suspect because they may try to play on your insecurities for business purposes or for criminal purposes, whatever it is that they want to do. Um, you always choose your friend. I have a suspicious nature, but that's because too many people have done that to me. So anyway, I'll go on for about less than about 20 minutes in, but uh, life is more interesting. Um, when I write my stories, I want it to be about people meeting other people and influencing other people. I think it's interesting to try to meet as many people as possible. Um, I can't do it in this area. This is a terrible area. Um, I try to do it at my work. I'll talk to people at my work, but that's about it. I mean, it's a change. Going back to work next week is a change of pace, and it is a change of pace to kind of not always be in this house because that's not good for you either. Um, but I don't expect to talk to anybody. Uh, if I did talk to people in college, that's done. College was went came and went. Um, and I did different volunteerings and I met different people, but some relationships last a few months, some will last a year. It all depends on who it is. There's the people I miss talking to, but I don't know how we can talk anymore. It all depends. I like to meet people who get who get things. They understand life beyond television and social media or yeah, social media, and they don't just go by the opinions of just a few people. They can go by their experiences as well. Um, yeah, that's it. So I'm not sure what I plan to do is I plan to do my training on Tuesday. Weekend I work, and then we'll see what happens. I'm gonna finish off Eternal Darkness. Not the art, but the video game. I gotta finish doing that. Doing some reading. So we'll see how this turns out. I'm looking forward to writing this again. Um, I like writing Metal Men, but I think people are. I see no views on some of that art, and I know people are getting tired of it. I'm kind of getting tired of it too, but this kind of the concept of metal men in a modern movie plot setting had not been done yet. And if that had been done as a movie, I don't think I would be doing it. I don't think I would care. But because it is being done, we've got police choppers right now. They don't like me making my videos. I don't know if you know, but have you ever been racially profiled by cops? Has that ever happened to you? But yeah, it's happened. It's like I have better things to do than to hang out with Dopey and Peanut or known felons and talk shop. That's how it is. I don't know if you live in the ghettos, but I do. And if you talk to a known felon and the cops see you, find a good lawyer. I don't know what to tell you. That's how it is. But I stay away from all that. I used to talk to a few people out in the ghetto when I was younger, but most people are well wishers, well to doers, and they don't achieve more than they feel like achieving. They make up big cock promises and they don't do anything in return. and that's unfortunate. Um, and now I just don't talk to anybody. I may talk to my neighbor every couple of weeks, small talk, but nothing important. Ghost in the Shell. That's the. Are you talking about the one with Scarlett Johansson? You talking about the one with Scarlett Johansson or the cartoon? Because I think I might watch the cartoon first and then the compare that against Ghost in the Shell. Um, Somebody was pointing out that Kenobi is going to have the one black woman inquisitor. She's going to be like super important. That might be fear mongering, but also too, the '96 anime. Well, I'll take a look at it. I think Siskel and Ebert reviewed it too. I was thinking about that right now. We'll take a look at that. Um, yeah. What am I? I don't know if I have it. Let me see if I have another one too. I mean, that's a popular one, but let me see if I have the other one real quick. Because I have a few minutes left here. This is Fantastic Children. This was an anime that came out years ago. I think this was 2004, and it was taking place in the year 2012. I think somewhere like that. I thought that was fantastic. I thought it worked out all right. You know, it's probably the best thing you'll ever watch. I think they try to put the plot on YouTube and then they stopped. They kind of like blocked those videos. But this is about 8 hours long. So it's not like a simple movie. You have to be able to watch this for 8 hours. And you will, I mean, there's a secret ending. You'll love it. Just fantastic. But yeah, I enjoyed that one. Lupin the Third, which is the classic. I remember my first anime, I think, I think it all for me was in '85. That my first anime was Robotech, whether it was the Macross Saga, Dana Sterling was the main character, or the one with Rick and Lisa Hayes and Min May. And then there was what was the other kinds of anime I saw? Oh, Thundercats, Silverhawks, right? I think the Mighty Orbots, but that was '86. So I think the first anime for me was '85. I was 7 years old. And I don't think any anime had been shown to me before then. I mean, because there weren't a whole lot you could grasp. I mean, it wasn't good till you get to the '90s that there was like Vampire Hunter D, Cowboy Bebop, and they made an adaptation that nobody liked that one. Ghost in the Shell. I've heard small talk can only lead to potential friendships. You just gotta find commonplace things. Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you post any topics? So the topics I cover, if it's something comic book related or if it's something politically, it all depends on how political it gets. If it's a lot of this between political figures, I don't care. I don't really talk about that stuff. But if it's something that has to do with draconian, take away your rights to do this or that, like with Breaking Points, they couldn't even say any certain things because they were accused of violating community guidelines on TikTok. And like they only said the N word. They didn't actually say the actual N word. That's stupid. So like it all depends on what it can be. But I mean, you try to find people like yourself. That's the best way. You're not going to find somebody who's too disagreeing with you. I have some videos. Okay, I'll take a look at them. In the meantime, let's see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some reading tonight. I'm preparing fish and chips. Let me see if I have the recipe. I also do cooking. If I could do cooking, if I can show off something new, because my last video, what did I do? I think this is it. Nothing's just practicing speaking. Practicing speaking. Are you speaking a foreign language or you're trying to deal with the stuttering you have? it might be a myth, but I always believe that if you focus on short syllable words, it might be the easiest way to deal with stuttering. Because if you think of just one word syllables, maybe it's a myth. You can correct me, but I would think that if you had to deal with one word syllables more than 2 words or 3 words, you don't stutter as much. But maybe that's just my feeling on that. Let's see what I have. So, like you just say and, but, the, king, queen, blue, red. Those are one word syllables. Yeah. Well, I mean, like my job that I'm doing is definitely out of my comfort zone. This is what I'm working on. Fish chips. I've got 2 more nights of this fish and chips. So it's not a bad time. It's the Tomb Raider cookbook. And I think I made some apple pies on a live stream. Um, I've done different things. My last video was about doing the standing bike. Um, Doing 8-hour job is, I don't know if you work a job, but it's an 8-hour job I'm doing, where all I'm doing is picking up trash, sweeping, nothing out of the ordinary. If I do see something promotional, the problem is that I have to travel by train to go to my job. So it's a very remote job. There was a promotional job. I talked about this last week, that I could have applied for. I chose not to because I I don't know how much more they would want from me. And if they wanted me to work more hours, be there more days, and I don't have a car, and it takes about over 2 hours to get to my work, that could be a problem. So, as ideal as that sounded to make more money, would have more response. They would want me to be there more often. Whereas if I'm doing the job I have now, they don't desperately need me there. But I'm thinking there are other jobs that I can do that don't require me to do too much more physical labor. Like could do less physical labor, maybe come in part time, 5 hours, 4 hours, five, maybe 6 hours. I don't even know. I don't know how it works, but anytime I can save hours, save time, a little less responsibility, because the job I'm doing isn't that imaginative anyway, and neither with the promotional job. 35 hours in a week at a grocery store. Well, I'd imagine that you could go back to the casino if you want, if you try. I can't imagine we have too many lockdown effects. There's some states do not allow for, or not do not allow, but have lifted the mask mandates. I don't know where the mask mandates. That's another thing too. The mask mandates are here or there. I just want them to be gone. At my job, they're supposed to be gone to where it's like you can you can have no mask outside, and they say recommended inside. But is that recommended implying that it's required? I have to be 100% sure. I'm going to take my K95 mask anyway, but I'm sick and tired of the fucking masks. We've done everything we did. We did 2 years of this. Secondhand smoke, nothing. I mean, if people smoke in the casino, that's what they do. They're probably going to be more politically correct these days, but I'm not much of a smoker, but there are people who smoke. I think the city I'm right next to the city where it's run by casinos, the whole city like that. So they want, they need the casinos to run. I just don't see myself working in a casino. I don't know enough about it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know much about casinos. I'm not a person that goes to casinos or gambles a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a job I would take on, I think. It's optional for wearing masks at my job. Well, it's up to you if you want to wear the mask or not. The only people I think that should still wear a mask, I think personally, are the kitchen staff. So if you go to a McDonald's, you go to a Coco's, you go to Marie Callender's, you go to Burger King, you should see the kitchen staff wearing masks because they have to breathe on your food. And that's it. Like everybody else, if you want to wear a mask when you're cleaning the bathrooms but the host should just not have to wear a mask. Yeah. So yeah, I think one of the things I had to learn, the thing about speaking of stuttering, the thing I learned to do more as I did these YouTube videos, and maybe posting videos for you has helped you overcome stuttering. If it hasn't, but hopefully it has, is being able to speak louder and you know, you know, succinct. I don't remember distinctly and enunciate your words, syllables when you're speaking. Um, when you have the mask on, and it's like it doesn't matter if you stutter or not. I am sick and fucking tired of because now I'm back to this. Whereas I used to talk like this, and then I got louder because after posting a lot of YouTube, then I find that I can actually speak more, and I can and louder. But ever since the lockdowns, I had to kind of go back to start. So, and I want to, there's some pretty girls at work, and I want to see their faces, and I'm tired of, uh, yeah, relax the jaw. Uh, yeah, it's taking a breath too. I'm not sure if you know people do that. People don't do that enough. You take a breath, you try to figure out something. Some things you just go intense. It all depends on how you feel about it. But it's just the more intense you are, sometimes you just lose it. Um, I think that's it. So 31 in, and yeah, this series I'm watching this again. If you get to watch it, please do so because I remember how it ends. I know how it ends. I saw the last season, but now I'm going back and watching the whole thing. There's episodes that weren't even aired on television. It gets that gruesome. Um, but yeah, I'm not too excited for the new Star Wars stuff. The new Star Trek stuff is predictable, and I don't know. Like there's just certain movies I'll keep an eye on if it's worth a damn. But as I get older, I find I amass so many things that like I don't want to see the same thing over again. I want to see new things. And if you can't amaze me in 2 hours, I don't see what the point is. Um, they moved back the Flash movie. That's next year. Moved it down to 2023. A lot of things are happening in 2023, but I'm just patiently waiting for something. That's all it is. I haven't seen Squid Games. Somebody pointed out another movie that's like Squid Games. I don't remember what it was called. Somebody said it was like, I don't think it was Russian roulette, but it was something like Russian roulette. It was like a movie with Asian actors in it, Korean or Japanese. I think they were Japanese actors. And it's all like, this was before Squid Games, and they're like high school age or junior college age, and they're all trying to like survive. And there was another movie like the Series 7, Battle Royale. Were you the one that recommended that to me? Was that you? Did you post that comment, or did somebody else post the comment? Because that's probably not a bad idea. Another movie I was talking about too was Series 7, which is an American version of Battle Royale, which, you have people trying to, this is like before the reality show. And they all, it's formatted. Yeah, thank you. That was good. I really thank you for that. Yeah. I'm going to try to take a look at it. But yeah, I was thinking of Series 7. I think my sister took that damn DVD of Series 7. I know what I'm talking about. That's an American version of that, and I think I think they were saying that as far as the direction, that it wasn't like the Blair Witch Project. It was like, it wasn't shaky cam. It was very still, and colors were sharp, and all the actors really got along. This was not a Hollywood, Series 7 was not a Hollywood type of thing. Um, I'll try to look at the Audible book. I must imagine it's in Japanese and English. Nihongo de English. Uh, that's a good thing too. If you're focusing on syllables, it's good to like look at the Japanese alphabet, and you can focus on single syllables. A, I, U, E, O, ka, ki, ku, ke, ko, sa, shi, su, se, so. Different syllables. Um, yeah. So like the actors are not too Hollywood. They're very getting along very well. I like. I still defend Pixels. I was looking at that too, but yeah, there's different kinds of movies that people hated or people overlooked. The book is free online. I'll take a look. Um, there's so many fictions I'm looking at. So as I end one fiction, I'll show you the book I have to finish before I get to that. This here, yeah. Now this is young adults, honestly, but um, there's three books in all. Plus, there's some art and some extra writing material, an extra chapter. So I'm trying to finish that book. I'm finishing a Mad Magazine parody of movies book. I'm looking at a lot of things. There's a lot of different movies, different fictions. There's all kinds. I mean, there's people get hung up too much on the big franchise stuff that sometimes we look at other stuff. But also too, if you look too much in that direction, you find that there's too many copycat stories. So you want to be careful of those as well. Um, yeah, and I can't. And as far aside from the like, because with movies, you know they're fiction. Akira, I've seen a little bit of it, but it's hard to catch up with the manga. But I if I go to Little Tokyo, I know I'm going to see all kinds of books over there. But I think that's like as far as that goes, it's not a bad. It's good to get into manga if you can, but it's like collecting comic books in America. You have to collect a lot of them. But I think after a while, you try to collect the ones that you really want, and the ones you really really like to get a hold of. So yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, I'm trying to finish up certain books. Um, I'm going to do a Superman review of the first arc in a couple of weeks, hopefully, hopefully. Um, if my job does not interfere with trying to pick up stuff, but obviously, if you see me, either I'm not feeling it or I'm busy. If I work on the day, then I probably just end up doing community posts or 1 minute, short, video. Because like on Halloween, on Christmas, I had to work those days, so I couldn't be home to wish to do any Christmas festivities. But I did. I think I did something for Christmas Eve. I do think I did something for Christmas Eve, but on Christmas Day I worked, and I don't think I worked New Year's Day. I did some stuff, but yeah. And I stay away from reality shows like the ones where like Survivor, because it's not that you can't find those interesting, but that it's hard to tell what's real and what's not because it's reality TV. The one reality show I did like was the Joe Schmo show, in which you had everybody pretend to be a character on a reality show except for one person who was not an actor, but was in the middle of all that. It's like, well, what the fuck moments. Fear Factor 2 was pretty good. I liked that one. There's everybody, but then it got so gross. Was it? There was like, what is it? Horse semen? Was it horse semen or donkey semen? And TMZ exposed that. That was the end of Fear Factor. They didn't air that episode. It was just so gross. But yeah, I mean that show. It was a good show, but Joe Rogan had better things in store for him after that. But it's like shows like Survivor or Master Chef Junior. It's hard to get into those because they pull on the heartstrings a little too much all the time. And I rather watch fictional versions of competition than because it's fiction, they're actors, they're doing this, and you kind of get into it. I mean, like Fear Factor was fun to watch, yeah, yeah. But they don't the stuff they do today, they don't do back. I mean, you can't get away with this stuff now. Um, there's a new Fox sitcom that looks like shit that I don't care about. Um, I don't know who the demographics is for. I don't really care. Hannibal, you can't even do Hannibal. I don't know if anime has changed all that much. I don't know. It might have. I don't know if there's censorship in the fact that, oh no, we can't do this kind of anime that like we did in the '90s that we do now. Prometheus. Um, I was gonna follow the aliens timeline, but I've heard nothing but bad things in between the Covenant one. Prometheus is supposed to be the beginning. The first Aliens movie I ever watched, I think, was Resurrection, where we knew that Ridley was dead, and this was a clone, and Winona Ryder was a robot. And I think I was like, it was so strange that one. Um, I've got to watch the first movie because that first movie is the gold standard, right? It's you got Jones the cat, you got everyone, you got um, whole cast. Um, yeah, Alien. I don't know what other lore you can do. I don't know if they would ever make one with a young Sigourney Weaver digitally put in there. You know, they've done Stranger Things. Stranger Things is another thing. There's so many fictions, isn't there? There's just too many fictions, um, too many works, and sometimes I find it difficult to get caught up in the new stuff. Um, if something is too similar to something you've seen before, at some point you may lose some interest in which you'll watch it, but to buy a whole thing, I mean, how much shelf space do you have? And if you're married, she's going to want to put her stuff on the shelf as well. That's going to be hard. So like with my video game collection, um, there's only a limited amount of space. I would not, I don't think after a Steam Deck I wouldn't get. I did warn somebody after the Amico, Intellivision Amico, and the Coleco Chameleon and the new Atari VCS that it would not be a good idea to buy into any Kickstarter for Dreamcast 2. There's I think Dreamcast 84, but he collects Dreamcast games. I'm sure he'd love. I would like to see a Dreamcast 2, but if some dumbass is trying to take your money and then say, "Oh yeah, we're going to put the Dreamcast 2," and it's complete garbage like the Amico, then don't buy into that. Sometimes you can have too much of something. They'll pull on the nostalgia bait, and so you have to be careful of that. But yeah. So if any have any last minute questions you have, because I'm gonna probably end it after a couple of minutes. But yeah, so we have daylight, and we're kind of looking back at things we've done this week and things that we can do better. Um, yeah, this training day is going to be something. I'm hoping for working the fall, particularly around Halloween and Christmas time. I'm hoping I'm not in demand that much. Uh, is it cheaper to make a Disney for than the movie? Uh, it might be. I know that it, but they see like with the AMC got angry with Warner. Was it Warner Brothers or Universal? I'm not sure which company, but somebody at a movie company said that we're gonna just stream all the movies, and then AMC got upset. So with HBO Max, there's a 45-day wait. So 45 days after the Batman came out, when the Batman came out? March 3rd. So let's say April 3rd. Let's say April 18th, right? April 18th is when you could watch the Batman on HBO Max. So they're trying to give this, it's shorter times. When I was a kid, it would take 2 to 3 years for a movie to go from the theaters to a VHS or Betamax tape. 2 to 3 years. Then it would take a couple of years, then 1 year. And then it would take about 6 months. Now it takes about a season. And I'm not sure if Spider-Man No Way Home is already out on DVD or not. You could, I mean, you could check for me right now, but it's coming out soon, either this month or next month. It's going to be on DVD, and if Hollywood continue the Alien Covenant storyline, uh, they can do it, but it's Disney's. It's Disney's. They could let either Hulu do it or they can do it. But I think it'd be better if it doesn't submit to any left wing or right wing politics of any kind, and it tells a story. Um, that's how you do it. I mean, the way to beat politics is you write a story for a white dude and put a black dude in it. Don't try to call attention to what somebody is or what gender somebody is. Just write the story unbiased and let that be. Of course, there's always room for B movie type plots. If I don't know if you've seen, go watch there's a behind the scenes video of Tim Burton and Nicolas Cage as Superman. It was a great little 5-minute video. There's more to it, but you see all these concepts, but you see Nicolas Cage trying on that suit. It's just cringe. Um, Dark Fate, I heard it wasn't very good. The only thing I did like about Dark Fate was the whole John Connor gets shot. I think the actress Linda Hamilton cried the night she did the scene where John Connor uh, dies. Basically, an alternate timeline, John Connor is shot to death. So it's like the game over scene in Terminator 2 if you go the wrong way in that game. So yeah, it's really sad. Um, that's that I think. Yeah, so I like I said, yeah, you can. I don't know, like with Terminator, I would like to see a Japanese style, like maybe anime, but maybe just Japanese actors with English subtitles, like a whole Japanese language, Japanese actor reboot of Terminator. That's my thing, um, because I think we milked that. We did so many versions of Terminator that to try to do another one, you're just stacking all this stuff. To me, I like Terminator 2 was the gold standard, right? And then the third one was trying to do this. And then Genesis was trying to do this. And they went back to Dark Fate, but I don't know. Oh no, actually, there's Redemption too, right? With yelling, screaming Christian Bale. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I run out of stuff to say, but stay tuned for next week. If I don't work Monday, I'll do one of these again. Anime Terminator would, yeah, like I said, Anime Terminator or a Japanese actor, Japanese language Terminator set in Tokyo. It would be something else. Like I want to see their take on it based on their Japanese culture. I want to see something else. So that's what I want to do. I want to see something different. We'll see what happens. But if you haven't follow me. And I'm going to be doing, I'm also on TikTok as well. I might put a link to TikTok, but if not, I don't think I can. It's on YouTube. But if you can find me there, I will post something. And yeah, and also have a good week. And just make sure that you try to do better than you've done last week. And guess what? We have more daylight. That's the best part.